Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassandra from Craftably Ever After, and as always I am really excited to be talking to all of you today. Now today's video is going to be about one thing, and it is about this book, Snuggle and Play Crochet. Now, why do I specifically want to talk about this book? Now, one thing, I love crochet books. I've got loads and loads of crochet books. One day I think I might do a quick video chatting about the various books I've got, my favorites, my less than favorites. But I will give you a little bit of a backstory on why specifically I wanted to chat about this book. Now, this book was written, or the designer behind this book is Carolina Guzman Benitez, and she is the lady behind 1 and 2 Company. Now, 1 and 2 Company, I have got loads and loads of their patterns. So I've bought 3 crochet kits from her. I have got loads of her paid for patterns that I've done over the years. And I have loved every amigurumi pattern that I have made from this designer. But over the last while, I've heard a lot of people sort of being unhappy about the patterns in this book. They don't like the shaping of the toys. The shaping is odd, or whatever the problem might be. There's been some, what can I call it, not that positive feedback on this book. Now, usually when I hear that a book is not that popular, I wouldn't specifically go out and buy it. But in this case, because I've done so many patterns from this designer, I really wanted to see what this book was about and what the actual problems are with the patterns. So of course I ordered it. It arrived last week, and I thought, okay, I'm going to start with one pattern. Now, I'm not going to do the loveys, because in this book you get patterns for toys, and you get a corresponding or a sort of a similar type of pattern, but in a lovey. Or security blanket. But I'm not doing the security blankets because I don't really have a lot of use for them at the moment. There's no place that I can hand them to. So I've got more use out of toys. Or I get more use out of toys currently. So I knew I wasn't going to do the loveys. If you want to see what the loveys in this book is all about, head over to Stitchery Doodle. She has done an amazing job on making loveys out of this specific book. So I will link her channel down below. You can have a look at the loveys that she's made from this pattern book, although I think she has modified them a bit. But for the most part, she uses the patterns to make loveys. Now, the first pattern I chose to test, you guys. And this should really come as no surprise to anyone who has watched any of my past videos. And it is Theo the teddy bear. So this is the guy that I decided to test. And let me tell you, I loved it. Let me show you how he turned out. This is Theo the bear. Now, I did not change anything from the pattern. Also, if you've seen a few of my previous episodes, I love just going a tad rogue with patterns. I am not scared to change or adjust or add to or remove from a pattern. That does not scare me at all. But for the purposes of being scientific, as much as testing an amigurumi pattern can be scientific, I decided not to go my usual route and change a bunch of things. I was going to follow the pattern 100% exactly. And this is how he turned out. I love him. Now, my son said that his proportions are very odd. He's got very short, stubby legs. He's got very long, chunky arms. And I was like, well, this is a bear wearing a festive red shirt. So it does not bother me if he is not anatomically correct. So I absolutely loved making this bear. So let me show you. The shaping of the head is a bit different. It's not an entirely round shape that you would normally get with Amigurumi. It's not weird increases or weird decreases. It's very, very beginner friendly. That much I can tell you from these patterns. They are not difficult in the least, and they are very, very quick. So the shaping is a bit broader at the top than at the neck. So let me show you from the back. So there you can get an idea. So it's sort of wide on the side, and then it tapers down into his little neck. The head is made separate. Then you make this tiny little body. So the head to the body, and then you make your legs, your arms, your ears, your muzzle, and your little nose. So it is a bit of sewing. But the actual parts of the bear is not difficult at all. The only thing that I did leave out in the pattern, they get you to do these surface crochet stitches at the top and the bottom of the shirt, which I did do, but I did not do the surface slip stitches on the shoulder part or the arm part here where the little shirt ends, because I hate doing surface slip stitches. I absolutely detest doing it. So for me, just to do it on the top and the bottom of the shirt, that was more than enough for me. But there you go, friends. I actually loved making this pattern. Absolutely beginner friendly. Nothing strange about it. No weird techniques. The only thing that I would advise, and I will get to it when I show you my next pattern that I tested, because once I completed him, which didn't take me long at all, I thought to myself, well, I do have an unnatural love of making bears. So maybe that's not a very objective test, because I will love making bears no matter what the pattern looks like. And I loved it. I honestly loved making this bear. I think he turned out super, super adorable. I used rainbow cotton 8/4, and then I used the sparkly yarn is also rainbow cotton 8/4, but it's their glitter or their sparkle Christmas yarn that they've got. And I used a 2.5mm hook on this guy. So everything I used rainbow cotton 8/4 and a 2.5mm hook. All right. So I thought, well, let me try a different pattern from the book. I can't just make a decision based on a bear, because I was going to love it no matter what it ended up looking like. So I paged through and I paged through. And friends, the next pattern should in no way surprise you either, because it's a reindeer. And I did warn you guys that there will be Christmas on this channel for the foreseeable future. So there we go. This is the little reindeer pattern. All right. Let me show you what my reindeer turned out. Again, I did not stray from the pattern at all. I followed it stitch by stitch. I didn't change, I didn't add, I didn't remove. And this is what he turned out. All right, I am lying. I did change the scarf. The scarf you made in little short rows. You know, you chain something and then go back and forth and back and forth. I find that a very tedious way to do a scarf. I like the effect because it's like a ribbing, but I mean, I was here to test the toy and not the scarf. So this is my little reindeer. Very, very quick again to make. Very beginner friendly, very simple, didn't take me long at all. Yes, there is a lot of sewing because it's the head, the body, the arms, the legs, the ears, this little red nose, his antlers, which consists of 3 parts each. All right, so this is it. Now let me tell you what was a bit of a pain with this pattern book. So the pattern's very, very clearly written, but these patterns is a very good example of why you should read a pattern through completely before you start making the toy. Because for the reindeer head, if you did not read the pattern, you would not have known where to put the eyes, because the entire head is described. So you would have been crocheting merrily along, completing the entire head, and then not have any eyes, because the eye placement is described at the end of making the head, where it gives something like, it's called, let me just tell you, head assembly. So they've got the entire head pattern. And then after you complete the head, there's the head assembly. Then it tells you, insert the safety eyes between such and such a row. Now, if you didn't read that through before, you wouldn't have known to stop at some point, insert your eyes, and then continue. So that was the one thing. You have to read the entire pattern beforehand, because the assembly of certain parts is only described below the section where it gives you the entire pattern for that part. The other slight schlep is that the majority of the patterns for the animals, now there's loads of animals in here. I wonder if there's a photo of all of them together. I don't think so. I mean, you can sort of get an idea from this page. There's quite a few, and I think there's even more. These aren't the only ones. There's more animals. Now, the majority of the patterns are based on the bare parts. So when you, for instance, get to the reindeer, it would give you a description for the antlers, the nose, the head, and then it would say, follow the pattern for the bear's body and the bear's arms and the bear's legs. And then it just gives you change, you know, where you would do color changes. So it would say in row 5 do this, and in row 7 do this. But it is a bit of flipping back and forth. So you need to sort of have both pages open to know that, okay, you're following the pattern for the leg of the bear, but for the reindeer, you need to change colors at this row. So that is a bit of a pain. It's the back and forth. But because the parts are so easy and they are mainly based on the same, like the heads for most of them are the same. The bodies, the arms, the legs. Here and there, there's color changes. Here and there, there's something slightly different. For instance, if you do let me show you I wonder if I can get to the frog now. For the frog, for instance, the head and the body is the same, but the arms and legs are done slightly different. They're a bit longer. Here we go. So for instance, they would say, for the head, do the pattern for the bear head. For the body, do the pattern of the bear. And then that give you separate instructions for the legs, the arms, and the eyes at the top. So there is a bit of flipping around back and forth. Apart from that, so let me show you, this is what it looks like. So it gives you a little description there, a chart guide. And as you can see, it would say head, same as teddy bear, body, same as teddy bear, and then the arms, legs, eye, and foot. Then you follow the pattern on the following pages. So that's the only part that really I did find annoying from this book, is the back and forth a bit, but not enough to put me off from making more toys. And the reason is it is so quick. Like if you want to make a bunch of bears in different themes, they are so quick to whip up. And even with this differently shaped head, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed these. I think I did over the weekend. It took me less than a day each. And I'm really not the world's fastest crocheter, friends. So I did both of these over the weekend. And like I say, the only reason that I went to the trouble of buying the book and trying the patterns is because I absolutely love 1 and 2 company. I love it. I've never been disappointed in a single pattern that I've made from this lady. So I wanted to give you guys my honest opinion, give you a bit of feedback on a book. Very beginner friendly. I can tell you that much. It is not difficult. If you're prepared to flip back and forth in a book, this won't bother you. It's got various patterns for the lovers. It's got a block blanket. You can see it's got a round blanket. It's got a textured blanket. It has got peaks. It has got a granny. And I think that's about it. That's it. So various different types of blankets you can make, loads of different toys. For my part, I enjoyed making the toys in this book. Could it be because I love bears? And because I love Christmas? Absolutely. I cannot deny that it probably had a very, very big influence. But you guys, I wanted to tell you my experience. So there you go. 2 very cute patterns, very beginner friendly. If you wanted to give it a go, if you want to go and get patterns from 1 and 2 company, like I said, I've got dozens of her patterns that I've purchased over the years. And I probably will continue to buy patterns from her in the future. All right, friends, that was it. Only 2 projects that I've got to show you. But that's it for this week. So let me know your experience with different patterns, not specifically this book. Are there any books that you have purchased that turned out completely different to what you expected? Are there any books that you want to try? Are there any books that you're excited to get? Are there books that you will never get? Let me know about amigurumi and crochet books. Which are your favorites? So I think in an episode in the future, I will do a little amigurumi book chat. I've got quite a few books, not all of them yet, friends. Believe it or not, I do not have them all yet. But I'm working towards it. All right, you guys, that is it for today. I hope you have a fabulous day. Stay safe and stay crafty.